Alright, what's going on, guys? Had a look at this link that someone said to look at on Twitter earlier. Well, not too long ago, actually. And, obviously, they did this E-Series last year with Roland Garros, and we didn't really get to see anything of it. So, obviously, the game was pretty much releasing around that time, so we didn't really get to see anything much of that. We saw a couple of videos on Facebook and Twitter, I think, from memory. I honestly don't know what it was like for the people playing the game at that point in time. I can't imagine it was overly great because we all know how the game launched, and yeah, we all know how long it took for online to come along, so there's that too. But everyone is sort of wondering, with the recent update, the player roster menu has changed to the point where there's more spaces down the bottom, and it's more so done in landscape ways rather than sort of more portrait style. So with how they've laid out the players, so that's sort of interesting, which could either mean you can have more creative players in that list, or they are planning to add more players, which would be nice. No doubt everyone wants, Nadal for Roland Garros, but the interesting thing is here. So with the E-Series, they'll get to play a pre-release version of the Tennis World Tour Roland Garros edition, and then it says it's to be released on May 16th on PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC, or Steam. So it still doesn't really give us the indication as to if it's just an update, a patch, or if it's something we've got to pay for, or this, that, and the other. I would really hope that we don't have to pay for this if we already own the game, because honestly that would be pretty disappointing, as I don't feel it's gonna add a massive amount, although I could be wrong. The gameplay patch yesterday was actually quite good. Still plenty of work to do, to be honest, but yeah, it's a step in the right direction. So, but yeah, we just sort of need to know, are we going to have to pay for this, or, is it free? It'll just be really interesting to find that out more than anything else. But obviously, everyone also wants to know, is there going to be more players? You would have to imagine Nadal and maybe Simona Halep as the current champions of Roland Garros would have to be included. Unsure if Djokovic is ever going to be in a tennis game again, because he has apparently stated that he just doesn't want to do that anymore at this point in his career. I think he was focusing on his injury comeback, so that may have played into that. It's hard to say. Osaka's a little bit different. She was obviously in AO, International Tennis, but yeah, I don't know. It's there's plenty of players that they could add. You look at a lot of the players that they did add, some of them are next gen players, well, barely next gen players, and ones you don't really even hear of getting deep into tournaments and things like that. Namely, was it Elias Yema and Michael Mo? Don't believe they've got deep into any Grand Slam or major tournament really, but I don't know. It might have just been a nice boost for them to, get a little bit more exposure. I don't know, but yeah. So obviously we get the Court Philip Chatria. Apologies if I butchered that name. I don't know if we get additional courts in this update, but yeah, the main thing is we need to find out if it's free or what the deal is. So, because that is the key. But yeah, like obviously with this E-Series as well, where are we? I'll just go to the page. Yeah, so online qualifications, national final, international final. Problem is, much like last year, unless you live in France, the UK, Belgium, Germany, Spain, Italy, United States, India, China, or Brazil, you will not be able to enter. So what's that? There's only, yeah, pretty much like last year, there's only 10 nations that are able to play. Here's a player list. As you can see, there's no Nadal in there or Djokovic. It's just exactly who we have in there so far. Yeah. So, yeah, like obviously, unless you live in one of those countries, you're not going to be able to enter. So, a little bit disappointing. Like, obviously, because I think they have to pay for you to travel to the finals and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, it needs to be viable for them. Although it's a bit funny to see places like United States, India, and China, and Brazil on there, because the rest are obviously, the other 6 are European nations. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens anyway. Stay tuned for more.